What's up, guys? Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Pile On, episode 25. I'm your host, Adam Goldstein, and we've got a great show today. Today, we've got Adam Hughes from Hughezy Entertainment coming to join us. So don't forget to check out Hughezy Entertainment on YouTube. You can subscribe to him, but also don't forget to subscribe to us at Adam Goldstein TV if you haven't already. If you guys subscribe right now, don't forget to smash that like button. It really helps us with the algorithm. And don't forget to visit cbdx.com and use my code Adamgoldsteincomedy to get 20% off not just your first, but get this, every single purchase of legal Delta-8 cannabis products that are delicious, amazing, effective, that get you high and can get shipped to your house. So don't forget to check them out, cbdx.com. We've got a great show for you today where we're going to be discussing a multitude of topics, and we're going to be talking with my friend Hughezy, so let's get started. Okay, so I've made no secret of the fact that I've gotten a little sick of Misery Loves Company lately, but there is somebody, a very controversial figure, somebody that I know personally who has been somewhat of a fixture on that show, and he was on the other day, so let's check it out real quick.
Let's clip it. Clip it! Put on Jake for a second. I can't take him in the I can see him waiting.
What?
Hey, Jake, if for a guy who podcasts all day, you would think your Wi-Fi would be better. Why does your Wi-Fi suck so bad?
Oh, good burn, Chad.
That's what I think of you, Chad. You know what?
Nice.
You, Chad.
Hey, why are you mad at Chad?
You can think whatever you want about Chad or Jake, but that is funny. You're flipping him off. Good job, Jake. Good. Nice.
You know, our numbers are bad right now, but
Dude,
they're still better than steel-toed numbers anytime I've ever watched the show.
Oh, good burn, Kevin.
Shut up, Kevin. Shut up. I'm not kidding with Scully. Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
I don't know what Jake Hudson, what exactly he has done to piss everybody off so much, but I think he, I don't know. It seems to me like he's probably redeeming himself for whatever terrible possible thing he could have done. And we're going to talk later with Hughezy. I'm going to ask him about Jake as well.
Fuck this show. I'm going.
It had nothing to do with you.
Done. Fuck you.
He froze up.
You mud shark son of a bitch.
Gotcha.
And look at Kevin and Chad right now. You could tell right now they think they've figured out the formula for how to create content. I'm not sure if having Jake on their show is going to be the sustainable content that they think it's going to be.
Come on, dude. Why would you say that?
It's so funny when Jake gets so frustrated. Like he just really wears his heart on his sleeve, this guy.
Word of advice to Janet Jacobs:
You're
start the
a mud
paperwork
shark.
for a restraining order from now. That way you can file it right after Atlantic City. That's not bad advice. What happened to Jake? He took himself off? Adam, he took himself off? Oh.
Internet
Jake, why are you so
connection.
mad today? Because of the interview?
You got a headache?
Did you watch the Steel Toe interview? You're mad about it?
The Steel Toe interview with Ray DeVito was really good. I don't even think that they talked about Jake.
Because
What?
Glad Chad made 300 yesterday. AIDS meds are pricey. Really, 300? I mean, 300's okay. That's not a bad living a day, but I'm just surprised. I always thought that these streamer people made a lot more than that. I thought all these people make like $20,000 a month.
Why don't you do something with your life? Sit around here all day. You contribute nothing to society. You're just taking up space.
Time that I come on here, Chad has something stupid to say about me. Keep my name out of your fucking mouth.
There's nothing like your internet audio completely dropping out to completely take the oomph out of your fucking keep my name out of your mouth moment. And look at Chad. You could tell he's obviously very worried. I mean, he acts like he's very like, oh, Jake Hudson, I don't know what he's going to do to me. But I mean, you could tell Chad just doesn't give a fuck. They think that this is really milkable content. We'll see.
Keep my name and tell Hughes tell your boy Hughezy.
DL Hughesley. Well, the black guy, the dreadlocks. Hughesley. I want to watch that again. Hughesley.
And tell Hughes tell your boy Hughesley to keep my name out of his mouth, or I will come to Ireland and I will Bam.
Why you come on the show to settle all your feuds?
You
Ian
never
Hawke?
leave your.
Oh, like you're one to talk, Kevin. No, you create a show to just prolong all your feuds and milk it for content, which is good when the feud is real. When things are authentic, that totally makes sense. But when you go past the feud, when you get to a point where you need to continue to pay your bills, this is the real question I have about MLC. Are they leaning into the drama too much to where it's going to become manufactured? I mean, I hope not for their sake. I don't watch their show, but I think leaning into it too much is a mistake that a lot of people make.
You never leave your basement. You're not going anywhere.
Ian Hawke and Hughezy?
Oh, by the way, also tell Ray DeVito that to keep my name out of his mouth.
By the way, I'm not going to say anything to him, by the way.
Party boy, Chad made
By the way-
$300 yesterday. AIDS meds are pricey. Is that true?
About AIDS meds?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Chad Poocock.
When I meet you, you're going through a fucking table having a day.
Oh,
Person, piazza.
You're going through a table. And when I keep hearing the term piazza, I don't know what that means. Does that mean I think that means drops the mic, just leaves the stream. Doesn't Chad get tired of holding that fucking microphone like this all the time? I would get so tired. Doesn't Kevin ever get... I know everybody says this, but doesn't Kevin get sick of wearing that Burger King headset on his... It looks so horrible, and it makes his head... It calls a lot of attention to his weird-looking head. And is it just me, or is that a swastika? Does Kevin Brennan have a swastika carved into his head, or is that like a surgery scar? Did he have, like, brain surgery? Jesus Christ, that does... I'm not saying Kevin Brennan's a Nazi. You tell me what you think that looks like.
Everybody, everyone's
Jesus
We're gonna
Christ.
get you
This
laid,
has-
buddy.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chad, guys. If you guys are not noticing that I'm actually a little bit tired, so when I get tired, I start.
He's apologizing. He said, fuck you to both of the hosts. Just fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And then he threatened them with violence, said he was going to put them through a wall, and then just comes back, my bad. I might have just been a little, might have been a little bit of a jerk. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just having a bad day. What the fuck? Jesus.
I've been good to you, and you pay me back with nonstop ass rape. Well, fuck off.
You're acting like grumpy, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're very grumpy. So they said, Jake. They said
by the way,
Jake.
Chad,
Jake,
I'm just like-
Jules David.
I just get.
You're like Ray. You don't
Mike
listen.
David is better than you, Chad.
It really is like jazz, the way these two just keep riffing off of each other. Skibbat boop doop 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 bop doop doop.
By the way, I love.
Red-
by the way,
Red Bar?
By the way, shout out to Nobody Likes Onions, and shout out to E-Rock. One.
Pew, 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 pew. Yeah, this guy really hates Aaron Imholt.
The best guys in the business, E-Rock.
I thought I was the best guy in the business. He made a video saying I was the best in the world. And then I watch Jake Hudson's channel and I see 1,000 other videos where everybody else is the best in the world. So yeah, that kind of that took me down a little bit of a peg, because that was a big ego boost for me when he made that video about me. And then apparently he tells everybody that they're the best in the world. So this is fucking great.
Hey Jake, they said Jules David.
Media.
Hey Jake, they said Jules David said she'll fly you to Vegas, put you in the hotel.
No, Atlantic City.
Atlantic City, get you a hooker,
City.
all paid for. Would you do it?
You know what? Well, if here's the thing, Chad. Do I have to share a room with? Do I have to share a
No.
room with my car?
Jules is going to get that chick murdered. I don't know.
No, that's not
No.
happening.
You got your own room.
You got your own room.
Hey, but here's the thing. By the way, if you didn't get, by the way,
I don't know why Jake always walks around his house while he's doing interviews, but it's I wonder if he's like me and he's ADHD. I have a very hard time sitting down and doing a show. It's one of the reasons that it takes a lot of like discipline for me to say I'm doing a show today. Like the fact that I did an interview and a show today is a big fucking deal for me. It would be really nice if I could just get all my errands and all my shit done while I'm doing a show.
bird.
It's so funny the way he keeps fucking freezing up too.
just bought me merch. I'm being nice.
That's
Every
nice.
time somebody, here's the thing.
I
I was nice when Bob was here, but here's the thing. You all, every fucking time you do a show, Chad, you
Quit
always
swearing.
want to be the center of a fucking.
Quit swearing.
I love how he's got Chad's number. That is true. Yeah, Chad doesn't like it when people pay attention to somebody else on a show he's on.
Jake, will you go to Atlantic
Dude,
City? Jake, can you hear me?
No, I
Jake,
wouldn't.
can you hear me?
I would go. I would go to Tampa. I would go to go see Chad at the comedy.
Could just one of these people, just one of these guys, get a proper podcasting microphone? I'm not really one to talk. Like, at least mine looks like a professional podcasting microphone. It sounds good if you configure it just right. I mean, mine's not very expensive, but you look so fucking silly. I mean, Jake gets a pass, you know. Chad's microphone is one thing because I know he's a stand-up comic, so I guess it kind of makes sense. He would feel naturally comfortable holding the microphone. But Kevin, get rid of that fucking headset. I wish somebody in Kevin's life would just sneak into his apartment and take that fucking Burger King headset and throw it in the trash so that he has to go out and buy a fucking real microphone. I'm sure that even Kevin Brennan on his $100 a week compound salary can afford a fucking $40 podcasting microphone like the one I'm using.
Chad, Jake, can you hear me?
No,
Jake, can you hear me?
Where did you learn your trade, you stupid fucking cunt, you idiot? Whoever told you that you could work with men?
This is the Mud Shark and the Hud Shark.
I can hear you. Can
Will
you
you
hear
go?
me?
If somebody pays, if Jules David pays for you to go to Atlantic City, will you go?
I said no, you idiot.
Why wouldn't you, idiot? Why wouldn't you?
Grown McDonald's worker.
It's a free flight. It's a hooker in your
We'll
own
get you a
room.
hotel.
Like, why wouldn't you take that offer, you dumb?
Why is everyone so fucking stupid? Why aren't more people intelligent like me?
Fucking Chad, that is not cool. You do not say that to Jake. That is not nice. Not to mention, it's a little hypocritical.
Yeah!
You said I'm a Piazza, but what's going? You won't go to Atlantic City.
No,
Yeah,
I wasn't calling you. I wasn't calling you a Piazza. I was calling Chad a Piazza.
Oh,
Are you gay?
all right. I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
You got mad yesterday. People saying you were gay, and now.
Well, no, because you
can't ask
got.
him. Don't ask him that. Don't ask him that. So you won't go to Atlantic
Why?
City.
I'm bi.
You're bi?
Jules David.
Okay, whatever you do, don't tell Red Bar. Don't let Red Bar find out that you're bi.
Fucking quiz!
Chad is bisexual. Whenever he tries to get sexual with a girl, she says, bye. Okay, so for this next segment, we're going to be talking to my good friend Adam Hughes from Hughezy Entertainment. We're going to be talking about a multitude of topics in the LOLCal universe. So let's see what he has to say. Hey, how's it going, man?
Quite excellent.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Do I just have to hit the
Everything's-
sarcasm in your voice?
We'll talk about it on the air. Oh, it is on the air. Yeah, well, there's a new Adam Sandler film out, and everybody knows that when you get new Adam Sandler in modern times, that means high quality content.
Yeah.
This November, Adam Sandler shits in your eyes, ears, and mouth.
No sarcasm there.
Uh,
I didn't even know he was still making movies that weren't just straight to Netflix at this point.
but this one's murder mystery too, so you know it's going to be good.
Yeah, I just completely lost track of him. And I like him as a person. I like Adam Sandler, but I haven't watched, and I used to like his movies like in the 90s, obviously, you know, when I was like 8 years old, they were great. They were the best. But yeah, I was just, it's so crazy at this point. He's like Howard Stern. It's like, just take your money and go, man. You know, like why even bother making movies at this point?
He's got this film called, it's called That's My Boy, which is so insanely bad that it's actually kind of brilliant.
Andy Samberg, I kind of enjoyed that actually, with the old lady that wanted to fuck him, and they did the "What's Up" thing from fucking Scary Movie. I remember that. Yeah,
yeah, I remember that watching that and just thinking like, this is terrible. I fucking love it.
yeah.
Like that's the Adam Sandler we need. The lunatic who doesn't realize that he's making a dick out of himself.
I wanted to ask you, the first thing I wanted to ask you about is, what do you think about Opie trying to turn his channel around? Do you think he has a chance?
I actually do. The thing is, I think the craziest thing about Opie is that how quickly, just by simply having another person on with him, the show gets better. Because for the longest time, like when you're just streaming and you're talking to yourself and you're not really doing much, it's so easy to run out of stuff to talk about. And he was doing all these episodes about the type of coffee that he had and fixing light bulbs, not exactly high quality Norm Macdonald level content.
It can get bad quick, and I've done the same. I've made the same mistakes, because when you get two people, even right now, this is why I'm trying to have people like you on, because it's one person talks and then another. It's A B A B A B, for better or for worse. At least you got a dynamic going. When it's one person talking, just fucking going on and on, it's A A A A A. It gets boring. No matter. It's very hard to make that interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good because like the thing that Opie has, he's got two things. He's got a lot of really high quality contacts, but he's also got a lot of unnatural stubbornness, and he just refused to accept the fact for a long time that he did need help with certain stuff. And I don't think that he's going to start appearing on everybody's show anytime soon, but I think that he's now more aware of the fact that, actually talking to someone and having some type of on-air enjoyment is better for everyone watching. And you can see that people have stopped trolling him as much. They're still trolling him, but he's getting through it.
Well, that's because of Anthony. Anthony's putting them all up to it, so.
Anthony has them all on the payroll. Snowflake, libtard, wokey, he's wokey. Snowflake, libtard, wokey, he's wokey.
Just, it's in his best interest to do that. I'm glad, I'm happy to see him enjoy himself more. What do you think about Cardiff and Corndiff? I wish he would do more stuff like that. Wish he would have them on more. I really enjoyed those segments.
Yeah, the ironic thing is for a long time, because Cardiff's been around for a while, and he annoyed the fuck out of me for about a year, but I've grown to find him hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, he is quite funny. I mean, I did an interview with him much early on. This was before he started doing this was before anybody really had an idea of who he was, because originally we all thought he was a sock account. We thought it was John's sock account, and he did this whole workaround, and he friggin' fooled everybody. I mean, probably me more than anybody, but I did an interview with him, and I immediately was like, you know what? This is funny. This is harmless. It's just good fun. It's a guy doing a bit, having a good time, and now he's really turned it into something. But the one thing that I really enjoyed that he did was the SJ puppet. Have you seen that? Where he does the Muppet puppet. And the funny thing about that, because Cardiff is a big dude, because I've seen pictures of him in real life. And when he does that puppet, he's in a super uncomfortable position, just scrunched down. I just picture him scrunched down on the floor, and I think to myself, you know what? This guy's really dedicated to his bits. You know what I'm saying? This guy really cares. And I'm like, that's really cool.
Yeah, and the good thing is that genuinely nobody knows who he is.
Right.
Apparently, even when he went to that DabbleCon thing, he stayed at a separate hotel from everybody else.
Really?
Just so that when he did take his mask off, people couldn't see who he was. And I think that's fucking hilarious.
He reminds me, his style of humor is very much like Monty Python. It's very wet. You know what I mean? He's, what would you call him? A slapstick. I feel like his comedy is more slapstick-esque. And the reason that I like Corndiff, and I don't really consider Corndiff a ripoff of him, because I feel like Corndiff is a lot drier. No, I wouldn't even call it anti-humor, but it was like when he was on with Chad, and he wasn't even, I felt like he wasn't even trying to push Chad's buttons, and Chad was just offended at the prospect of talking to Corn. He just, you know what I mean? It just pissed him off, the weird absurdity of it. But it was, I feel like if that were Cardiff, it would have gone differently if it had been an interview with him.
But that's the weird thing about Chad, is that I've been a Chad defender for a while, but he seems to get annoyed when somebody else is funny.
Right.
I don't know if it's a jealousy. Well, only you say that it's jealous, but it seems to annoy him when someone else is when Levy was very funny on Mizzy Loves Company last night at the time of recording this, and Chad was getting really visibly pissed off and was telling him, You can't be smoking weed before the show. You can't do that. And it's like, but it's funny. Why are you angry when the guy on your show's making everyone laugh?
Why is he pissed about the smoking weed? Is it the professional thing? Is it like Bruce Willis and Kevin Smith, or is it like a don't smoke weed around me because I'm trying not to, like, because isn't Chad in recovery or something? Is he still trying
Absolutely
not to?
Yeah.
No? He's off the wagon?
Oh, fuck yeah. He's big time. He says that he's 4 days sober again, which means that he's only been
4
drinking
days?
during the day.
Wow. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but wow, that's 4 whole fucking days. Wow.
You know, this apartment complex caters to upscale young singles like me.
How old is he? What is he, like 50?
Yeah, nearly 50, I think.
And I don't hate Chad. I definitely was on Aaron's side. We can get into the Chad stuff, but I was on Aaron's side because I'm not saying I don't understand like why Chad had to do something, because Aaron was really, I mean, Aaron did a lot of coverage of him, and obviously it wasn't very nice, but at the same time, I feel like what really, my opinion of the whole thing with the kids, where people say it's not doxing, I feel like when you post a picture of someone's kid online, you're sending them a message. You're sending them a threat, or maybe it's, you know what I'm saying? It's a very minuscule kind of a threat. It's just a reminder. Like if you had a kid, right? Nobody even knows that you're married. Nobody knows that you have kids. And I put a picture of like your 6-year-old daughter on the internet. Like, what would you want to do to my face? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a dad, you'd be fucking pissed. And it's not like, obviously, I don't think Chad would ever harm a child. I really don't think he's capable of that. But I feel like he made some mistakes along the way. He did some missteps. Like, I hear all the lore about him and all the shit that he says, the stuff that comes out of his mouth. And I think this guy can't possibly be this bad.
No, I know exactly what you mean, but I think that the real issue of this whole Aaron and Chad thing is that while I also get along with Aaron, but he started the fight.
Sure.
Yeah. And it's like, I always use the analogy. It's like if you go into a bar and you start a fight with a stranger, and it turns out that this stranger's like a fucking MMA champion.
Yeah.
And
that sucks for you. Yeah.
Yeah. So Aaron started with Chad. It just so happens that Chad has no moral barometer when it comes to getting his own back. And I definitely do think that Chad's gone too far, because like on one of his streams, he posted photographs or something of Steel Toe's mother-in-law. I was making fun of her for being fat. And it's like, what's she got to do with anything? Like, that's completely going too far, I feel.
And Chad's complained about how people have harassed his aunt too. So it's like, I feel like everybody who's on the internet, anybody who's talking into a microphone and putting shit out into the zeitgeist has probably been, I mean, I've been doxxed before. I've had phone calls and threats, and mostly from the Stuttering John shit, but it's pretty much par for the course at this point. So it does happen. So I feel like my opinion on that is I feel like Aaron did put himself in that situation. I think for a while there, I think Chad was really turning the tables on him. I kind of felt for Aaron, because I just thought when the Nobody Likes Onion stuff, when Patrick Melton was doing his streams and zooming in on April's head, I just thought, oh no, man, like this is gonna, I'm sitting there thinking, as somebody that I'm a Steel Toe fan and I like Aaron, I'm like, is he gonna be able to really handle, like, this is where we're gonna see what he's really made of. It's like when you're going and you're attacking people and you're having fun, and then all of a sudden you see the guy that you're fucking attacking is coming back at you. I'm talking about the Red Bar stuff, like him getting have you seen the Red Bar coverage of Aaron too? That's when I was like, oh no. But I think Aaron's kind of turning the corner and handling it good. I think he's trying to have a level head about it. But I know it's had to have been tough for April. At the same time, though, she is a co-host. I mean, she did say a lot of stuff about Chad. So you know what I'm saying? I think that them attacking her, while it's like, I feel bad because I like April, I like Aaron, but I'm like, you know what? It's like if you're gonna be on the internet, if you're gonna be on YouTube, you have to be able to handle it.
I'm a babbling idiot.
Yeah, and also I think that with Aaron is that sometimes on the Steel Toe Morning Show, this is kind of two-faced to say so, but on the show, he can tend to come across badly, because he's like, hey, everybody, we're doing this, and we're having fun, and we're having a good time. But then when you see him in real interviews, like the Ray DeVito one, you can see that he's actually like a pretty nice cool, funny, laid back guy.
I really thought he did very well in the Ray DeVito interview. And I'll have to admit, like, there are gaps in my knowledge because I haven't been following the chat. I tapped out of the Chad stuff and the MLC stuff a little while ago. I get dribs and drabs from Aaron's side, though, because I do listen to Steel Toe. But I did listen to that Ray DeVito interview, and I thought Steel Toe held his own. That's what made me really think, because I wasn't sure for a while. I was like, oh, I don't know. And I like I said, I had to tap out of it for a while. It just became a little too absurd. But I thought to myself, oh, I wonder how he's doing. I hope he's handling it well. And I thought that interview, I thought, okay, you know, this stuff is eventually going to blow over. But I'm just thinking, I'm thinking with the MLC stuff, it got to a point where I feel like Kevin and Chad, they kind of liked it. They were like, okay, let's feed into this. Let's capitalize off of it. For once, it was like Chad was finally starting to get some money, to get some attention. It seemed like a lot of people were starting to get on his side, and I'm talking more like the Opie and Anthony subreddit type of crew. You know what I'm talking about? Like the Patrick Melton type of fans, and some of the Red Bar people. I'm sure a lot of those people are Red Bar fans now, but yeah, the Red Bar coverage of Aaron, I was like, holy shit. I never thought Red Bar was gonna really talk about Steel Toe.
Yeah, that's really the problem that Steel Toe is, I guess we have to say, brought on himself, in that when you want to do this sort of stuff, you're leaving yourself open to criticism. But Steel Toe needs constant content,
right?
So he would need to be like, right, we're prep meeting. We're going to talk about Chad, Nanti Kumia, Stuttering John, Red Bar, and that. So then they have the right to respond, and then you've got multiple fan bases now listening to you getting roasted on the show. And it's just, it is like, because it is kind of nuts in a way, because you've got to, I wouldn't say pick a side, but you got to speak your opinion. And I think that it's going to be a bumpy 2023 for Steel Toe, because I don't think Chad's dropping this anytime soon.
You don't think this is over?
No, I think he loves it too much. This whole Kumia's cucks thing.
I think Kumia's cucks is actually really entertaining. That was, I gotta give it to, because I'm not a Chad fan. I'm not on his side. Maybe I'm just a little biased because he unfollowed me on Twitter. I don't think he liked the fact that I called him Chad Poocock. I don't know. Maybe comparing his family's namesake to anal sex wasn't like the nicest thing, but he's so anyways, yeah, so I don't think Chad likes me very much anymore, but I really don't hate the guy. I just think like the thing is with the whole, when he went into the kids stuff, when he went into the stuff that was too far, it's like I just thought to myself, Chad didn't need to do that. And once I saw the Kumia's cucks thing, like to me that was funnier, you know, just when he was doing the dancing, when he was doing the hype train thing, that was really funny.
Yeah, I would say
goofy.
that the hype train is like his version of the nursery rhymes that Dice used to do, because it's just hurry up, do the hype train. I can't fucking wait. But that's the thing, is because Chad is funny, but he's one of these people that responds with anger instead of with put downs, because that's what comedians are supposed to do, not fucking want to fight everybody.
Yeah, well, the feud thing is going to get exhausting for me. Just following all the feuds and all the bullshit, and the problem is when I feel like something, and I know it's like maybe it's a wrestling thing, but when I feel like I know something is fake or it's manufactured, not talking about wrestling where it's a performance or something like that, but like just internet feuds and bullshit, when it feels put on and fake, I just lose interest in it. Do you think they're going to try to fake? They're going to be maybe not faking drama, but do you think they're going to be leaning into it too much going forward?
I think that they already are. I think that this whole MLC versus Anthony Cumia feud is the definition of one-sided. Anthony's completely ignored it. He's not arguing back. But Brennan's every day is like, fucking Cumia is a racist. Like, Anthony Cumia, they don't sell tickets. They don't have any subscribers. And it's like, and Anthony's like, but I'm a millionaire. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And the fact that he won't respond to Brennan makes Brennan even more angry about the whole thing. But I think Kevin Brennan, like, this is a two-faced thing. I think he's hilarious, and I think MLC's the funniest, best podcast in the world. But I also think that Kevin Brennan's a fully shit hypocrite, because, like, we were talking there about the Ray DeVito interview. And Brennan was going, Ray DeVito's Wi-Fi was fucking embarrassing. He should be humiliated by all that.
On his fucking Burger King headset, he was yelling this into.
Yeah. And then they had some cunt fucking called Jake Hudson on the show with even worse Wi-Fi than what Ray DeVito had.
So I know Jake, and the thing is, I don't really know him that well, but he was one of these people, and he's always been nice to me. But I know the lore with him and Steel Toe. I know he denies the swatting thing. He's been accused of swatting. Most people seem to believe that he did it. But after I did the Aaron Imholt interview, like, he was in my DMs almost every day. Just really, he really wants to become a guest. So he's actually trying to become a guest on my show. I was thinking maybe eventually I should have him on and ask him about that stuff. But so what's the deal? What's your opinion of Jake?
I can't stand him. I can't fucking stand him. And I tell you this, I'm pretty woke in that I don't hate people because they're gay or because of their race or how they identify. I just hate them because I think they're dicks. And with Jake Hudson, he's obviously got some type of what should we say, uniqueness to him. I
think he's mentally ill, and I think he's talked about it. Or he's and mentally disabled. So, I think he's got a mental illness. Yeah.
Yeah. So I treat everybody exactly the same.
Sure.
Whether they're mentally ill or not. And I just think he's a boring fucking weirdo. I've heard stuff about him that has him on the type of list, and I just think that I think people keep letting him away with shitty behavior because of his condition, and I can't stand that. It's like, just treat him like you would anybody else, because there's there used to be a guy that used to get on the bus that I was on to go into work, and he had like some type of mental illness, and he had like a Tourette's thing. And he was always a bit weird in the morning. And one day he actually attacked a lady on the bus. Oh, and I just thought, I remember I seen that happening for months in advance. And it's just like, he shouldn't be allowed on the bus. He should have his own journey to work. Like, he should be brought to wherever the fuck he was going. Because like, this woman just got punched in the face because this guy's fucking, because too many liberals are like, oh, but he's just the same as the rest of us. It's like, yeah, well, the rest of us don't hit women.
You know what this is reminding me of? Do you remember the riding the bus with my sister, Opie and Anthony bit?
Jesse's delicious. He's going to take me today to get a new toilet seat because mine got broken and was sliding.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Such a great...
I'm riding the bus, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm the same as you.
Oh, God, she was so sexy in that.
That's one of my favorite of all time Opie and Anthony bits. That and the Twister bit are probably two of my favorites.
Well, do you want to know what you should be excited about? The guy that did Top Gun Maverick is rebooting Twister.
Really?
So Twister's coming back. So get ready for round 2.
Albeit without Bill Paxton. May God rest his soul.
Yeah.
I still can't believe he's gone.
Yeah, how'd he die again? Gang rape or something?
I thought he had some kind of he had like a disease. He had cancer or something like that, like inoperable cancer. I don't know that for sure. I that's what I remember. I could look it up in a second, but I'm too lazy. But
let's just vote on gang rape.
So Kevin Smith quit weed, and it seemed like it was. I didn't realize it was becoming a big problem, and apparently it might have been affecting his creative output a little bit. Do you have any opinion of that?
Yeah, no fucking shit. I watched Clerks 3 the other night. We'll see right now at the minute. I have a bad sciatica flare up in my right leg and in my lower back. It hurts like fuck. This is more fun than watching Clerks 3 days ago. It was so bad.
It stinks.
Where, do you ever get when you watch something that's so bad, or you hear a song that's so shit, and you actually become nervous? Because you're like, oh my God, like that was, something's wrong. Is this a sign of the end of the world?
You have like fear.
Cinema, yeah, it's just like
yeah.
It was like it's like I love going to the cinema and I love stuff. I love watching new films, but when you see shit like that, it's like they're gonna stop making films one of these days, and this is a reason why.
We used to have bad movies, but now it's just an epidemic or a pandemic. It's just the worst possible fucking thing. Is it as bad as Yoga Hosers?
I never watched Yoga Hosers. I couldn't. I just.
I'm not even supposed
because I rewatched Yoga Hose. It was like the worst piece of crap I had ever seen when I watched it. And I have to say, I rewatched it and it wasn't as, it grows on you like a little bit. I hate myself for even admitting this, but it's, I just, part of me kind of holds out hope that maybe now that Kevin's quit weed, that like there's a chance maybe he could make one or two more good movies someday. But I don't know if that was the reason behind it or if it was his wife. His wife is supposedly like really, she's kind of like a Jada Pinkett type where she sort of controls him. And if she tells him he has to quit weed, that's what I think it was. I think it was the wife probably was just sick of him being in a cloud of smoke all the time.
Well, I've also heard that he would have to co-finance some of his more recent films. And I think it got to the point where it's like everything you do is unsuccessful. So, because he still made a lot of money in the 90s and the early 2000s. So I think this was their way of being like, you had a nice bunch of money, like $20 million that's just going do every year, especially after he had the heart attack. So the wife's probably thinking, I'm not going to get left anything in the will.
Right. So
she's like, stop financing shit. You haven't made it. The only film I've ever walked out of in my life was Cop Out, the Kevin Smith film with Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan.
Oh, I didn't even see that, but I've seen the clips of it. I know Jim Norton was in it, right? I saw his scene and it was terrible. Nothing against Norton, but I mean, when his acting sucks, he's terrible. He's got to be the worst actor I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'd rather watch Jim Norton suck a tranny's dick beside my mum than fucking ever have to watch Jim Norton in Cop Out again.
I mean, I like Jim. Good for him. I'm glad. I'd like to see him get more movie roles, but it's it's not. It's like The Room acting, like The Room quality.
Yeah, no, but the Kevin Smith, and then there's a couple of, it was during the pandemic. I don't know if you ever heard about that. It was a big thing that happened worldwide.
Really?
Check out my Patreon for more.
I'll look it up on Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah. And I watched them. It was called Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And I was already depressed during the lockdown. And this made it 10 times worse. It's like, this cannot be what I have to do for the rest of my foreseeable future during this very real pandemic that's very, very real.
There's only a 98% chance that I will live.
It's like he makes all that just terrible judgment. I think that was the crux of that. I don't know if you get a chance, check out the video I sent you, because those guys did a pretty good analysis of Kevin Smith as far as like why, like kind of breaking down why it is that being stoned all the time is bad if you're a filmmaker. If you're somebody that has to make creative decisions, you have to decide all the time, okay, this joke isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. You know what I'm saying? It's not a good job for a stoner.
Yeah, but the thing about Kevin Smith is, and not to get political, but he's the perfect example of how being a big Hollywood liberal can fucking ruin everything you have. Because he went from being a pretty adult, edgy comedian, and to be fair, he did make a lot of really like homophobic jokes in previous stuff. So I can understand not wanting to keep doing that shit.
Sure.
But then he just went so left that everything's like, well, the diversity in Hollywood, we need to have more diversity and we need more film roles for up and coming people of color. Also, I'm casting my daughter in the lead of the next 4 films I make, and that's that. So he's a fucking hypocrite. So he's like, I remember him trashing Will Smith's son, Barney Smith, whatever the fuck his name is. Jaden,
the weirdo. Yeah.
People hit me on Twitter like, Jaden, you wildin'. Let me talk my piece on Jimmy Fallon. They hit me on the gram like, Jaden, you stylin'. You ain't know my swag was on 1,000.
It stinks.
Yeah, that effing. And he trashed Will Smith. It was like, oh, the nepotism and all this shit. Well, apparently he personally called Quentin Tarantino to get her a role in that fucking what Once Upon a Time in Hollywood film. Really? She's got a small, and you just think, this is ridiculous. You're a hypocrite, you're a dickhead, and your career's falling down around you, and it's all your own fault.
And they didn't cast her in it, did they? Sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt
yeah.
you.
She was one of the Manson whores.
They put her in it? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But she didn't she's in it, but she doesn't get like a role. Like she's like a allowed extra.
She's coked out 60s whore number 3.
Oh, those were good whores back then.
I gotta admit though, that movie was fucking awesome though. I loved it.
It's
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. The soundtrack was a
a
fucking banger, dude.
Oh yeah, during the pandemic, which is the thing I was talking about earlier, I watched that once a month, and I would save my drinking because between me and you, I like to have a drink once in a while, and I would save my Friday or Saturday night drinking to sit and watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because it's just so fucking funny. Like Leonardo DiCaprio, because he's done all these dramatic, intense roles for years. Now you're getting to see that he's actually kind of a funny pedophile.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's the other thing that you got to love about Leonardo DiCaprio. Critics always say, oh, well, why does he keep wanting to go out with these younger girls and these younger girls? It's like, well, when you go to a fucking bowling alley, everybody wants new, fresh shoes. You don't want to use up something that's been fucking passed around for years and years. Just like, no, give me the new shit. And that's what he wants. He wants a nice, thin, tanned Italian-looking hair that knows how to take it and move on and bring on the next one. He's in his 50s. He doesn't have many hard-ons left.
Yeah, it's like, do you want a fresh beer or do you want one that's had 9 penises inside it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta give you credit too, because you gave me the idea to do a format like this where I noticed I was watching your interviews where you do the zoom in, zoom out thing on the Zoom square. And that was kind of what inspired me to start doing the interviews. Because you can, you know what I'm saying? You do the thing where you zoom in, zoom out. It looks like you're doing a multi-camera thing. So
yeah, well, that's mostly because I've started drinking a lot when I'm recording interviews, and certain words get said, so
right.
It's a good way to edit around it.
It is too, yeah. Or if like somebody's green screen falls down, or you're if the shower curtain behind you falls down, you're recording in the bathroom, right?
No, this would be my shitty spare room / office.
Oh, cool. I just assumed you were in a bathroom. I was like, maybe you get good acoustics in the bathroom. Like, not that you would, you'd have tile. It would be like bouncing all over the place. So going back to Opie, him trying to work on his show, I feel like what he needs to do is just make sure that he's not podcasting in a room with too much echo. Like, in other words, I feel like there are little adjustments Opie can make by himself. Have you watched his beer show? I guess he's starting to try to do a show that's about something at least.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing about Opie. It's that he so easily could have such a better show with even just the most minimal effort. Like the beer show, like it's not exactly going to have Red Letter Media shitting themselves for YouTube numbers.
Yeah,
but I think it's at least something.
A step in the right direction.
Yeah,
I mean, you can only say so much about a craft beer. I mean, it can be interesting, but you've got to, you know what I'm saying? You could describe a craft beer in 2 seconds. What are you going to do? You're going to describe 100 different beers.
Yeah, it's basically like it's like when you see someone joining the gym for the first time, and it's like, listen, you could run on that treadmill all you want, but if you don't make your diet more strict, you're never going to fucking get it. You're never going to see any changes. So then as soon as they think, right, you know what? I'm not going to have donuts with coffee anymore. I'll just have like one a week. And then you start seeing the change. And that's what's happened with Opie. Slight minimal changes, and you can see the tide changing, or whatever you call it.
That's good. What do you attribute that to? Like, what do you think has changed his perspective? Or do you think something's happening with him that's good? Maybe he's on some different meds or something?
Well, I think really with Opie, and not to big myself up because I don't have like giant numbers, but I think when he sees the fact that someone like me can put out a clip talking about Opie, or you see like who are these podcasts, can put up a clip of them analyzing Opie's uploads, and their stuff, WATP, can get 10 to 15 times the views that Opie does. I think he started realizing, fuck, I've got to start throwing my weight around, because it's not like he doesn't know them. He doesn't have weight to throw.
Well, I'm sure he has people that can help him with the technical stuff. I mean, he still has friends. He does have some connections.
Well, Opie at the end of the day is a multi-millionaire, so he can afford to be like, hey, do you know how to do this computer animation stuff? So yes, like, well, I'll put you on a salary for 7 months and we'll work together, see what happens. And it's like, that'll do me, Opie.
Well, do you think that he's ever going to get to a point? You think he's going to reach a point where he can ever figure out how to make it economically viable? You think he'll ever be able to make money with it?
I think so. I think that if he starts doing these live streams and brings on guests, that like what he's been doing recently with the food army, whatever you want to call them, this could be like if he started inviting guests onto his live stream and he only reads out the super chats, that's going to be Opie's way back in. Yeah, because that's one of the things I've got to say about a lot of these people that do live streams and they get super chats and they read them and the comments and you just think why make them all pay?
I've made that mistake too, because I was starting to do live streams for a while there, and I'm going to keep doing them, but I think I need to tweak a few things. So I started doing them, and then I figured out how to program sound drops into OBS, which is a broadcasting software that I use. It's like StreamYard, but it's more open source. So I got to a point where after a few weeks, I figured it out and I had all these sound drops. Everything was working good. And I felt like a genius. I was even thinking about like putting together like a video, like an online tutorial for podcasters on how to customize OBS and program all this stuff. And then I ended up having a stream where just everything crashed. I still haven't figured out like what went wrong, but all of a sudden, like I went from feeling like I had it under control to suddenly like nothing worked. I couldn't execute anything. And I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do now? Yeah. But other than that, man, I agree with you. I think that like things are going to continue to be really interesting. And I just don't think that anybody needs to really make up any drama, because I think I'm talking about the MLC stuff. I feel like they have enough interesting stuff to discuss on that show.
It reminds me a lot of like the Marvel universe, in that everyone, well, people like me were like, oh, great, an Iron Man film and the Captain America film and the Hulk and the fucking, and then now they're doing the Avengers. You think, wow, I can't believe all this content. So then Marvel thinks, okay, we're going to triple down. 4 films a year, 6 TV series a year, 6. We're going to completely saturate the market, and now it's all backfired on Marvel, and now their films are losing money.
They overestimated the market.
Yeah, they've overexposed, and now the public are onto them. The public gets sick of it, and that's what's going to happen with MLC. Like, because you get 3 comedians who are funny as fuck, so stick to the comedy instead of fucking Joe Rogan. He's a fucking idiot. All that shit, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there's enough interesting, real stuff to discuss, and I think there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of creative people out there doing really good shows. It's all really interesting. I think when there's certain times where it bottlenecks a little bit, where you have a lot of where everybody's covering the same thing and it feels a little repetitive, but I think there's potential for like things to move on where everybody's respectively gonna kind of move on and go in their own different little directions. And I think that'll be interesting. You know what I mean? Because the Stuttering John stuff, I feel like though, whatever you call the so-called Dabbleverse, and I mean, I came from that, you know, I did Stuttering John coverage and all that stuff, but I really feel like that whole thing is really kind of run its course. And there's a time where people like that, I feel like eventually people are going to have to, I'm not saying you can't ever talk about somebody like John again, but it's like, he's obviously never going to be coming back. But no, man, I just want to say thank you so much for coming on, Hughes. I really appreciate it. I didn't want to take up too much of your time, but no, man, you're cool as shit to talk to. I could definitely sit here and talk to you all day.
I'll definitely do it again if you're ever, if Jake Hudson's too busy. I can fill in for him.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I'm definitely looking to do more of these. I figure it'll be good to kind of break up the show, a little bit of lol cow stuff, a little bit of a guest segment, and then kind of wrap it up. And it went from like 30 minutes to suddenly I was doing like 2-hour streams, 2-hour long show. It's a little too long. I think shortening it is better. People have short attention spans.
Yeah, it's like quickie sex is actually better than the making of the love, if you know what I mean. You just go, oh, what a day.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, thanks again, dude. It was great talking to you, bro.
No problem. And let's stay in touch before the next pandemic happens.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, man. All right. We'll take it easy.
All right. See you later.
Hey guys, thank you again for watching this week. I'm Adam Goldstein, and you're watching The Pylon right here on Adam Goldstein TV. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that like and subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the notification bell too, so that you'll get notifications whenever I go live or whenever a new episode is posted. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Adam Goldstein, and you're watching The Pylon. I'll see you guys next week.